All right, guys, welcome to the Hunter's Quest podcast. Today, I have a great guest, somebody I've been trying to get a hold of for a little bit. He's a busy guy, but I'm here today with Pedro Ampuero. How you doing, brother?
Don't blame me. We are both busy. So it hasn't been only my fault.
Did I say your name right?
I think so. I don't know. I
Pedro
didn't.
Ampuero.
Yeah, pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah,
Pedro.
I'm already used to with
Pedro
with
Ampuero.
Pedro.
Pedro. There we go. I got it. So yeah, man. We've been trying to link up for a while. I know we have some mutual friends, and yeah, I just thought it'd be really cool to chat. I don't know. I used to prepare really thoroughly, and not that I don't like preparing for podcasts, but sometimes if it's someone I'm just really interested in talking to, like yourself, I feel like it's better just to kind of flow. So I figured we could just kind of have a conversation and just get to know each other a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. I think we both have enough stories to be talking for a while.
Yeah. So where do you live?
So I live in Spain,
Okay.
so northern part of the country in Bilbao, and we have a beautiful country. We have 14 different species, hunting 360 days a year. So we have the hunting season is all year round because we have so
Oh,
many
okay.
different species. We have goats, we have roebucks that they have antlers this time of the year because of a weird process that they have antlers during the spring instead of having antlers during the fall. We have red stags, fallow also in the fall. So the whole season kind of goes all year round. So it's kind of a pretty cool hunting
Yeah.
destination.
Okay. And you just got back from you were on the road. Where were you just up to?
So we just arrived last week from Uganda. So we
Okay.
went to the northern part of the country, to Karamoja area, which is border with South Sudan, and we have been hunting. I went there with my dad hunting buffalo.
Cape Buffalo or
Um, it's it looks like a Cape buffalo, but in theory it's a different subspecies. But it's
okay.
basically a Cape buffalo. It's called the Nile buffalo because that's where the Nile starts. But it's basically the same as a Cape buffalo.
Gotcha. Did you guys get one?
So no, my dad got one. I almost got one. So it has been a tough hunt. Like there was a lot of rain, so the buffalo were scattered and they don't track the buffalo. So since the grass is so tall, they are not used to tracking buffalo. So you're basically hunting spot and stock. And between the tall grass and there's always like when you travel to somewhere, there is always something, an excuse.
Yeah.
If it's not, it has rained a lot. No, the moon is full
Yeah.
moon now. So, like it's full moon. And last week was amazing, but this year it's slow. So, for some reason or the other, they weren't the buffalo that we were expecting. And my dad ended up shooting one the last day of the hunt on the seventh day with the rifle, and I got an opportunity also on the last day, but we couldn't recover the buffalo. I think
Ah,
the shot with the bow was great, and as soon as I saw the video, the footage is amazing. Like as soon as I saw the video, it's like we just made it.
he's dead.
But the guys weren't used to bow hunting, and I think I blame the whole team because we are a team. So it's not
Sure.
he did that wrong because I probably could have placed that arrow a little bit better. So it's not a specific person fault, but bow hunting. Like if people are not used to the bow, they think it's the same as with the rifle. And with the rifle, when you're hunting buffalo, as soon as you put a bullet, it's you shoot the buffalo as much as you can. You run after it to don't lose sight of it, and that's the way it happens because the buffaloes can take a lot of ammunition. They are so big
Mm-hmm.
that the impact of the bullet doesn't make as much impact as when you shoot a
Right.
smaller animal. It's the same with moose. You can shoot the moose three times with a gun and they stand there like nothing really happened. So
Yeah.
and they were scared that the animals will run into the national park because we were not hunting far from the national park, and
Mm.
the PH, rather than staying still and not moving because the whole herd didn't knew what happened, he called one of the trackers to get the car and to try to cut them off, to kind of block the way that they were not actually running, they were just standing. But it turns out to be that they were really close to the road and we were watching the buffalo all the time. And as soon as they heard the the car, they just started running.
Hmm.
And even if the buffalo is wounded really hard, when he's inside a big herd, just the whole herd pushes the buffalo and he follows the herd. Like they are super strong animals. Like the PH was telling us that he once recovered a buffalo with a bullet inside the heart that walked
Whoa.
800 meters, so 800 yards or 900 yards, with a
Wow.
bullet in the middle of the heart. So they are really strong. And rather than probably being patient and waiting to see what happened, because it only, by the time the animals started running, it was only 1 minute, and the buffaloes need a little bit of time. The whole herd got inside the tall grass. There was barely no blood. The penetration was excellent, was like I don't know, it's 30 inches, my arrow, and it go like three quarters all the way in.
Hmm.
I think right, if it wasn't the heart, it was almost right there. I don't know. And we couldn't follow the tracks. We don't know what happened, where it went. And with the tall grass, you can miss a buffalo. You can pass by a buffalo at 5 meters and don't see it. So it was
Yeah.
pretty
That's the
distressing,
worst.
but
That's the
it's
worst,
bow
man.
hunting.
Yeah, it
I don't know.
happens. It happens. I've seen it. I've been on trips where I was actually filming on this specific trip I'm talking about, but my hunter hit the bull elk with a bow. It was leaving piles of blood, like bubbly blood, like, you know, this big, like 2 inches, 2 feet across, like just, and then we looked for it for like day and a half, never found it. It's just part of it, but it's the worst, man.
Yeah,
So
and what I hate the most is that for a mistake I have made, because definitely if I would have hit the heart in the center, it would have been dead quicker or whatever. So it
hmm
was my fault. That people judge the bow as not as an efficient weapon, because it's
yeah,
something that in Europe we are very familiar with, because in a bunch of countries the bow is not allowed and it's not legal to hunt with the bow.
right. Which
So
is interesting because it like a lot of some places you find like over here, people think that like bow is more ethical or like it's more of a challenge, like and but over there it's kind of opposite. It seems like it's perceived differently.
I think like there is two ways to see it about ethical. What is ethical? To give the animal more opportunities to run away and to
Right.
escape from you, or to provide the animal the quickest, cleanest death.
hmm
So in that sense, the rifle is more efficient. You can be more precise. You can shoot for farther. It's stronger.
Yeah.
But if I see the way I see that it's more ethical, because you're giving the animal way more opportunities
Right.
to escape.
You got to
So
get
I don't know.
closer.
If I was an animal, I'm not sure what I would prefer, but I think being hunted with the bow, and also one of the things that I think people don't understand much about the arrow is that sometimes non-lethal shots, animals recover really fast, because there is no like burning of tissue. There is
Hmm.
not, like, the cut is so clean that animals really recover quick.
Hmm.
And if you hit them in the right spot, they die as quick as they can. So a bad shot is a bad shot. The same with the rifle, a 375 rifle, than with an
Yeah.
arrow. If you hit them in the guts, they are gonna go away. So yeah.
Yeah, man, that's just part of it, and that's rough. But I've been to Uganda, but I wasn't hunting. But pretty cool country, and it
Were
is.
you with the gorillas, or what
No,
part
I
of the
was on a
country?
missions trip. I was ministering to folks and yeah, praying for folks and sharing the
That's
gospel, all
awesome.
that good stuff.
All over the country, or in a specific area of the country?
We went to what's the main city called?
Kampala,
Was it Kampala? Yeah, I guess is
Kampala or Entebbe are the two.
yeah, that's right. We flew into Entebbe, and then we spent a couple days in the city, and then we went out to a village called like Chibarara, and we did like a conference there, and we saw crazy stuff. Like we saw like people possessed by demons and all kinds of crazy stuff.
People don't realize how different the world in Africa is.
Yeah,
Like we
and
we try to think to solve their problems like how we think in other countries, and it's just a different.
yeah, like I was looking at it as a hunter, and um, like I was telling all the villagers how about how like we go out and hunt and we have public lands and we can, harvest animals and stuff, and they like couldn't believe it. They were like, "What? Like if you shoot any animal here, like you're going to prison." And it's because like it's a perfect example of why the conservation model that we use in America, and I'm assuming also in Europe to some degree, is amazing because I remember driving for like we drove one day for like 6 hours through the countryside, and I don't remember seeing one single like wild animal, like nothing. It's like every single wild animal has been killed and eaten like generations ago, and like the only place their animals are on like preserves or national parks and stuff like that, and it's like it's crazy, man.
Yeah, either on hunting areas or national parks. But
Yeah.
as soon as you step, I mean, already in hunting areas, it's really hard to keep poachers away, which I don't
Hmm.
blame them because, like, if you are hungry and it's your
Yeah.
land and you are seeing animals, I will hunt too. So, and at the end, through hunting, we try to add value to those communities so they see value in the animals to preserve them. But the
Hmm.
reality is that it's tough. The buffalo my dad shot, he shot it because he had a snare on the neck.
Hmm.
So,
Wow.
and he removed a couple of snares during the hunt. So just
Wow,
it's
they
hard to stop
snare
it.
buffaloes? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a big one.
yeah, that is crazy. So yeah, man, that's cool. I want to hear a little bit of your backstory because I don't know much about you or your family. I think I know like your dad's a big hunter as well, but I'd love to hear just how you got into this lifestyle and just a little bit about you, man.
So my dad is a hunter. He's the one that introduced me. My grandfather wasn't. So my dad started hunting when he was, I think, 18 or 20. So and he has hunted all over the world. I'm the only hunter out of four brothers and sisters. And yeah, we have been since the beginning, like I don't know, since I was like 15 or 16, trying to promote bow hunting when bow hunting was starting 20 years ago, whatever, in Spain. We
Hmm.
had a website, we started making videos and writing articles and all that, and that led to making better videos, getting a few sponsors, getting more contacts, and trying to that until I'm mechanical engineer by trade, but until I reached one point that Jason Hurston, the founder of Kuyu, gave me the opportunity to work managing or helping. We are two guys working in Europe, manage
Okay.
the Kuyu side of Europe.
How'd you link up
And
with him?
I met him when he was already in Sitka,
Okay.
and we touched base and all that. And when he started with Kuyu, for some reason, we talked a lot, and I was one of the guys testing the prototypes of Kuyu before releasing. So I'm super thankful because he gave me a huge opportunity because as a Spanish kid that I was in my 20s or 20, I don't know, early 20s or whatever, to trust a Spanish kid to test your prototypes, yeah, and get feedback. And it reached to a point that I told him, like, whenever you have enough business here in Europe that I'm able to afford quitting my engineering job, I will 100% quit my engineering thing because
Nice.
it's not my passion. Like you go to work, but when you get home, you are not thinking about engineering and all that.
Yeah.
So you are thinking on hunting. So I
So do
definitely
you
wanted to
still?
find like a way to work in the hunting industry. Probably guiding was the easiest way, but at the same time, guiding, I think it's pretty tough because you get to guide. I have guided before, and you get to guide some awesome people, but you get to guide not some awesome people.
Yeah.
And so I think finding the balance about working for a company that you are on the technical part of equipment and all that, and to be able to hunt, I think it was pretty fortunate. So
Yeah. So, and do you still do work with Kuyu, like Kuyu Europe? Are you involved with that still?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we are still
And
managing.
so you started filming your hunts. Was that just kind of for fun, or did you want to get into content creation, or how did that all
I
start?
I have, like, my dad has always filmed his hunts
Oh, okay.
since the 80s. So he has all his hunts all over the world since the 80s filmed. So I think he was the reason he got me into filming
Yeah.
and try like when we will go on a hunt together, he will give me the camera and he will just document and I will film him, he will film me, kind of like to just document a hunt for history or whatever for later in life to be able to see where was the place. So it was not like creating hunting movies. It
Right.
was more like sitting in front of the river. I'm here in the river, Nile River, and in the background we have been driving for 6 hours just like to report the trip.
Yeah.
And when I started hunting with the bow with my friends and all that, we started filming each other. It's also that the camera equipment got way smaller, way more accessible, and all that. Because at the beginning, my dad was filming with like big tapes and 8 millimeters and all that. But when the handycam started coming to, it was like the very easy to film. And it was when internet was starting and YouTube and Vimeo and all that. So we started doing it for fun and
Nice.
suddenly you see that you get more engagement and that someone is like, why you don't come hunt over and you are in the 80s, you are 18 years old. It's like, he's gonna invite me or give me a better price to go hunting. Yeah, let's go film it. Like we're having fun anyway. So,
Yeah.
and one thing led to another, and now I'm working with my wife. We have a media production company, and we produce a bunch of films.
And are you producing mostly stuff for kind of your own channels and your own hunts, or are you doing commercial stuff as well, or both?
Mostly for our channels. We used to
Yeah.
have a TV show in Spain, but paid TV it's going the reach is going lower and lower. People are not in Spain at least they are not used to paying for content when you have so much great
Right.
content available for free.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of years ago with the COVID and all that, we are like, okay, we're gonna invest in YouTube and we are publishing since then everything on YouTube,
Gotcha.
which
Okay.
is a rough road, but
Yeah, it is. And the thing about YouTube is they can just shut you off one day if they want to. It's
I
kind of
hope not.
scary. Yeah, me too. Um, so what's the hunting culture like in Spain? Like it's very different. Everywhere you go is hunting culture is different. I mean, I grew up in the southeastern part of America, hunting
Okay.
areas that are very flat, and I grew up bow hunting white-tailed deer and stuff. And but the last 3 4 years, I've really immersed myself in the western hunting culture and hunting the mountains, and it's been a crazy ride and like a wild experience. Just seeing the differences in how people hunt and stuff. And I know Europe has its own very unique hunting culture. And so what's it like over there, man?
So I think one of the biggest differences is the population that we have in Europe in general, that there is way more people than in the States. So we don't have those public land areas like you guys have that. I think you guys are super lucky to
Yeah.
be able to hunt and lose yourself without any guides and all that. I think that's freaking amazing. In Spain, there is towns everywhere. In Europe, there is people everywhere. So everything is private. Most of the land belongs to the little towns, so they lease the hunting rights.
Hmm.
So in one sense, it's expensive to hunt in Europe because you need to buy the access to those properties. But on the other way, it's very easy to find hunts. So it's not like in America, they're like, I would love to go hunt for something, and you need to be applying for, I don't know, 10 years to get a tag and bonus points, and you only have a season of 10 days.
Right.
Here, if you rent a lease with a few friends, you can do what I mean. Like the government will tell you, you can shoot only 3 roebucks, 3 stacks, 10 wild boars or whatever, and you will manage it as you want, as long as you don't kill over the quota that the government says.
Hmm.
So the good thing, you can get access, but it's expensive, and we don't have those many wild areas that you can really get lost yourself. I mean, we
Yeah.
have mountains and beautiful places, but not as in America.
Yeah.
And also in some part of Europe, there are some areas of Europe that are very into trophy hunting. Some other areas that are more into the conservation thing that hunting, like in Germany and Austria, is hunting is a conservation tool. It's not for having fun or like
Right.
recreation. We just need to keep the balance. We need to be efficient, and that's one of the things like don't like bow hunting because it's like this is not efficient. You're having fun, and what we should be is controlling game.
Yeah.
Like we are here to
So German.
manage.
You can't
Yeah,
have fun. It must be for a purpose. No fun.
but hopefully, like there is a lot of people working on legalizing bow hunting, so
So
hopefully it changes
bow
a little
hunting
bit.
is illegal in Germany?
Yeah, Germany, Austria, United Kingdom, Netherlands. Like there is
Hmm.
Italy, it's opening up, but like there is a lot of countries that
But
is,
Spain, it's legal.
yeah, and France, and like there is a bunch of countries that is legal and with no
Okay.
limit, like not very much limitation. So it's pretty good in that sense.
Yeah. What about like anti-hunters? Is the anti-hunting thing pretty strong over there, or do people
It's
not really
strong,
care?
definitely way stronger than in the
Yeah.
States. Particularly in Spain, we have been the current government that we have has been very strong against hunting, and they are continuously like taking a piece of the cake. If I don't know, like
Hmm.
limiting the hunting rights, and they have just forbid the hunting in national parks, which is stupid because I mean, like they forbid the hunting in national parks. They stop earning money from hunters that buy the tags and go there and all that, and they have to pay with the taxes professionals to kill the same animals.
Yeah.
Which is like, what are you guys against animals dying or against just people that hunt and have fun doing it? Because it's like
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Like you guys are killing, we are paying all money for something that we used to earn money as the government. They are killing the same animals and they are
Yeah.
not taking care of the meat. It's
Yep.
just
It's all about
stupid.
restricting freedom, man. That's what it is.
And the same with wolves. Like the population of wolves in Spain is like the second largest population in Europe, and they just forbid the hunting of wolves last year, and and they are just like going up. There is other animals like partridges that maybe having more troubles to recover and all that because of agriculture and different
Yeah.
reasons. But like the wolf is the most beautiful animal. We need to protect it.
Yeah, I don't get that. And like same over here. I mean, we have states even introducing wolves and like the wolves that were reintroduced to like Idaho, for example, are like a Canadian subspecies that are like way bigger than the wolves that actually used to live there, and they're just destroying the elk and ungulate populations, man. It's crazy.
And at the end, it doesn't make sense. We live in a world that we have limited resources. Why don't take advantages of those resources, of those elk, for people to eat those elk rather than fabricating meat and
Yeah.
putting wolves to kill those elk that they were not there. So it's like, I don't know, there's nothing wrong of us
Yeah.
harvesting those animals and making use of those and not
Yeah.
using other resources, I think. But
I did see something today. I don't know if it's 100% true, but I did see something today about how Italy banned um like lab grown meat to like try to preserve their like culinary culture. Have you heard about that?
no, I haven't heard about it.
Okay. Well, but anyway, so
We
are
have
you
so many troubles in Spain already that it's hard to keep
yeah.
track on.
Yeah, I bet. So is that your home that you're in right now?
Yeah, well, this is my parents because we're
Okay.
flying tomorrow to New Zealand, so
Oh, nice.
I just came to go to the airport tomorrow. So
Okay. And do you guys own some family land there that you hunt, or do you
no,
lease only?
we lease it.
Okay.
So we you lease between a group of friends. We are like I don't know, like six friends. My dad and my cousin and a couple of friends, and we lease the hunting rights.
Okay.
And we buy the road deer or whatever like those licenses, and we manage for 10 years is the lease. So you are
Okay.
able to manage and see like okay that back I'm gonna keep it for next year and all that to try to
Okay. So they're long-term leases.
yeah.
Okay.
And you
Cool,
can
man.
renew after 10 years. You have the right to renew it as long as you put the same amount of money that the new guy that wants to jump in.
Yeah. All right. So
So
the reason one reason why I wanted to do a podcast because so I'm working on this TV show and it's sort of a hybrid format. Some of the shows I'm talking to other hunters and kind of discussing hunts they've done and stuff. And so I did one with Brian Call and we did the bear series that you're in where you shoot that bear at the end. And then I did one with Remy Warren, and it just by chance it happened to be the Caribou series that you're in that one too. So it's like I feel like I got to talk to this guy. So
Last
and
year
I
was a busy season. It was a
yeah,
fun one.
and I called you and I was like, hey, or I can't remember if I called you or texted you, but I was like, asked your permission to basically put you in the show because you actually I put you in the episode with Brian at the end when you kind of said that thing about, oh, you guys are so lucky to have these public lands and all this stuff like that. And I showed you shooting your bear. You don't even know this, but you're going to be on TV in
Good.
America. So, and
Make sure to put subtitles so people understand what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I think Brian did put subtitles in there, but anyway. So how did you link up with Remy and Brian and all those guys?
So with Brian, I don't know. I have been a huge fan for a decade. I don't know how when he started with the greedy bowman.
Yeah,
Now it's not the bowman anymore, but yeah, I started following him since then, and we have been in touch. And I don't know why, but at some point, it's like we should do something, and he was like, "I just got someone that is not coming in a couple of weeks. We're going bear hunting, and someone was supposed to come, and we have an empty place. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going." So don't
nice.
invite me if you don't mean it. Don't invite me because I jump quickly.
Yeah,
And we got on that hunt, and we spent a great time. We spent 10 days there with Ryan Lampers
Brady.
and Brady Miller, and we had a blast. So it
Yeah,
was a super cool trip, and we were able both to get the bird. So definitely learned a lot, and we definitely had a lot of fun. So
yeah. It's a
we are
tough hunt,
doing
man.
some, yeah, we're doing something else this October. We're hunting mule deer together, so
Oh, cool. That's
with the
awesome,
bow.
man.
So that should be
How
fun.
is it hard as a well, I guess as far as you getting a tag, it's the same as any other non-resident, right? Or is it even more difficult as a non-American to get tags?
Depending, like I think in the States it's more or less the same thing, especially for over-the-counter tag. So it's not like a special tag. So it was an over-the-counter tag.
Okay.
But for example, in Alaska, I'm considered a non-resident alien. So
Hmm.
for example, in Alaska, I need to have a guide. So it's not like you guys that you can go there
Uh,
and hunt without a guide. I need to have a guide.
for
So
any species, you have to have a guide in Alaska.
yeah, for like
Okay.
Sitka, because I really wanted to do the Sitka blacktail hunt in
Hmm.
Alaska. And everyone's like, no, you should come. It's like, yeah, no, but I need a guide. And then the hunt gets way more expensive and way more complicated to organize than just
Yeah.
jumping on a ferry and going over there. So, but in the other parts of the country, I think it's probably similar, but I'm not sure. Your regulations are so complicated.
Yeah.
Every little
Every
state
state.
has. It just. I read the whole state information, the whole book. Is like, please, Pedro, don't fuck it up because like since you are always like, especially when you're making videos and all that, you have to be
Oh
paranoid
yeah.
about not fucking up on something and don't just like doing something that is not legal or whatever. So yeah,
Yep.
and with Remy Warren, we just another hunt that I just jumped last minute also for Greenland, and there was a bunch of guys planning on a hunt, and there was also a spot, and they called the Spaniard, and I jumped on it also with
Nice.
2 week notice. So the caribou hunt was pretty awesome. The
That was
Greenland,
cool.
there was
Some great
caribou
footage.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And hunting with Remy, with Cole, with Adam, with Justin, like with all those guys, that was super fun.
I bet. Yeah, it looked
Super
like a
fun.
fun group, man.
Yeah, it was super special, and especially now that caribou hunting is getting more and more complicated.
Hmm.
I think like if you ever want to shoot a caribou, better do it sooner than later
Yep.
because in Canada the caribou populations are going down. I think a lot. I'm not sure what the current situation of Labrador caribou is, but I think it's way lower between the wolves and the. There was an illness, no, right? That it's killing
I'm not
the caribou.
sure. I'm not sure to be honest with you. I've heard all different things. I've heard some people say it's just made up because they want to shut stuff down. I've heard some people say they are hurting. I know last I heard the 40-mile herd in Alaska is doing fairly well,
Mm.
above objectives. That's Alaska, and I actually have a caribou hunt lined up for this year on the North Slope. So it is
In
getting,
Alaska.
yeah, hmm it is getting more difficult. Um, for me, I called the transporter and he was booked like 2 years out. That's the biggest thing is they're all booked for years. And so this guy was booked 2 years out, and I was like, hey man, I have some Alaska experience. I know a little bit what I'm doing. He normally does drop camps, and I was like, I don't need a drop camp. Just take me up on an off day, drop me off. I'll bring all my own gear. And he's like, all right, let me talk to my boss or my partner. And I was like, okay. And so he's gonna do it. So, but all I have to say is it is getting tougher. Um, so yeah, I would agree with you. If you guys want to hunt caribou, don't wait.
I cannot plan or commit myself to do a hunt in 2 years.
Yeah, how do you
Like
do that?
it creates me a lot of anxiety too. It's like
Does it?
I'm gonna close some dates in 2 years. Like where the hell I may be bankrupt in 2 years. I'm not sure.
Yeah, for real, man. So what's your hunt? What's your gonna do? What's your plan for New Zealand?
So I'm hunting with Joe Eddington. He has a pretty good YouTube channel. If you don't know him, just check him out. And we are gonna get dropped in the Alps, and we're gonna be hunting for chamois, tar, and stags. So for 10 days, out of the tents, backpack. So I don't know. It's pretty cool because that's the southern hemisphere. So right now they are in the beginning of the winter. So it's kind of like a great destination to do a cool, proper mountain hunt
Yeah,
during the springtime, which in many places there is not that many things to do.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's on my
so
list, man. I
really
want to do that.
really looking forward to it. We are going with a rifle. If you want one advice, don't bring your own rifle to New Zealand because it has been the hardest, biggest nightmare to
Really?
get it approved. Interview with the police, getting the papers, asking for permission. They were talking with Joe where you're gonna storage your firearm the night you're gonna be sleeping in the town that we are flying on. Just very complicated. So I just
Wow.
got the approval to bring my gun today,
Oh my
and I'm
gosh,
flying
you're gonna leave it
tomorrow. So,
tomorrow.
so,
What's
so
the? Is
super
there another
stressful.
option? Like you
Yeah,
just
to
have to have
get to use someone's gun over there, but
like a friend?
yeah, or like rent it from the
Oh,
outfitter you are gonna be
okay,
hunting on, which is the easiest part. But we are filming some content for a new rifle coming up, and we wanted to bring that
right,
rifle on the hunt. So
okay.
I don't know.
What rifle company is
Traveling
it?
with guns is getting more and more complicated
Yeah, is it
all
a
around the
Bergara
world. But
rifle you're
yeah,
bringing? Because they're based in Spain now, or they're
yeah, they're
from.
based like 30 minutes from my house.
Okay, cool, man.
So they have a factory in the northern part of Spain, and they also have a factory in America.
Yeah, okay,
And I mean, like the area that I live in Spain has been known for gun manufacturing since ever. So it was like that in the past, if a town was good in doing something, all the manufacturers were, all the brands were around
yeah,
that area. Is like
right,
the boot companies. They are all in a specific region of Italy
right.
because all the guys knowing how to make boots were from that territory, and they were just making different brands.
Mm-hmm.
And Bergara was born in one of in the core of Europe of rifle manufacturing. So
Okay,
so they used to make a lot of barrels for other companies,
yeah,
and they are fabricating also their own rifles since I don't know, like 8
yeah.
years ago, something like that.
I know they
I
make
think
barrels for CVA muzzleloaders. I just drew a really good New Mexico elk tag with the muzzleloader,
that's
and
awesome.
it's got a CVA sent me one of their new Acura LRT, LRX, and all of those Acuras now have Bergara barrels, which is interesting.
Yeah, CBA is owned by Bergara, so it's the
Yeah,
same.
BPI Outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, is there muzzleloader hunting in Europe?
No, not really.
Not really.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like the thing is that
interesting.
there is no special regulations. So the advantage of America is that the bow season is before the rifle season or the
Yeah,
muzzleloader. So people is like, I'm interested in hunting with muzzleloader because it gives me an advantage.
right.
In Europe, it's the same.
Same.
So you can
Okay.
hunt with a stick or you can hunt with a rifle. It doesn't really matter as long as you kill only the buck that you're supposed to kill. Doesn't matter what weapon. So I think that's why it's not popular because it's just like more complicated and I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Cool,
same
man.
with crossbows. Crossbows are not very popular either.
Yeah. Yeah, crossbows get kind of some hate over here. It's like some people think it's cheating, I guess. I don't know.
At the end, the important thing is that people have fun. So
Yeah,
like
I
maybe
agree.
reach one day that I cannot hunt with the bow and I need to use I don't know, shoot from the car. I don't know because I cannot walk, but and not everyone has the same time as maybe you and I, or maybe it doesn't have the same physical condition or the same opportunity. So I don't know.
Yeah, for
It's
sure,
hard to
man.
judge others, but
So you prefer bow hunting over rifle. What is it about bow hunting that kind of draws you into that style of hunting?
I love the silence when you
Okay.
shoot an animal that you don't break like the whole momentum, like the whole moment. Because when
Yeah.
you shoot with the gun, it's like
Right.
everyone knows you are there. Like all the birds shut down, all the animals are running, and you're like, it was a beautiful moment, and just it's and especially I like the challenge.
Yeah.
At the end, I think one of the cool parts of hunting is to spending time outside. So when I go on hunts, it's like the sooner you kill that animal, the sooner your hunt is going to end, and you are traveling over there to spend the longest time enjoying
Yeah.
nature. So why I would like to kill earlier.
Yeah. No,
So that's what happened with Brian Cole. He's like, I don't want to shoot the bear on the first day. I came here to spend 10 days. So I just want to, and for that reason, I have come empty handed many times. So it's not a good advice, probably. But
well, that's
I,
interesting because that's something I was thinking about a lot lately on this bear hunt. Um, and I think this happens to a lot of guys, but especially like with content creators, um, or at least for me, I get to a place where I'm like very much I get to a place where I can kind of look at a hunt more as like something I need to do and accomplish and like check off. And and I'm out there, I'm like stressing the whole time about like, oh, I gotta fill this tag, I gotta get this footage, I gotta, make this show and stuff. To the point where like I realized on this last hunt, like I wasn't really enjoying where I was and what I was doing. I was kind of stressing too much um and trying to figure out how. That was one of my major takeaways from the hunt is like I need to try to figure out how to like slow down and try to enjoy the experience and not just try to like kill the animal and go home. Is that something you've
yeah,
dealt with, or like do you have any tips for how to kind of get over that?
self filming, it's tough. Like, I'm not sure if you are bringing a camera
I
guy
was
or
with a
not.
camera guy.
So when I bring the thing I love about bringing a camera guy is that you can focus on being present on the moment. If you are self-filming, it's just stressing. You are thinking on the shots. You are thinking on putting the camera, on
Mm-hmm.
capturing this and that. So that stress me. I mean, like, I don't enjoy it as much because like you
Yeah.
are thinking all the time on filming. When you have a camera guy, it's like he's doing the things. I'm gonna do my own thing. You have to be more patient to make sure that the guy has the shot and all that, but it's something that doesn't. I'm used to it, like to waiting for confirmation, and you lose opportunities and all that. But at the same time, you wouldn't be there if you wouldn't be filming. So it's just a ticket you have to pay for being there. So the lost opportunities, I'm not really scared. And the thing about filming hunts is that our culture, if you don't have a kill shot, the content is not
Yeah.
valuable, and it's hard. Like with bow hunts, I don't know. Like now in Uganda, we don't have a kill shot. The last trip I went in Kyrgyzstan, 22 days, we don't have a kill shot.
Wow.
So it's like you have this huge amount of content that is like how I'm gonna tell a story that it's appealing and that people don't get bored because at the end we all want to see
Yeah.
the kill shot. And I love seeing kill shots. Like when you see and also a show and you don't see what happened, it's kind of like
Like, ah.
no, because the thing about the kill shot is like I think it brings you to that exact moment and
Yeah.
place, and you get in the skin of the hunter, and you
Hmm.
can think about how stressful you are, how excited, how concentrated you need to be, and I think that's really exciting to watch. But yeah, I don't know. I think the key thing is to don't promise too many things.
Yeah.
If you are dealing with brands or with TV or whatever, uh, because if you don't get the kill shot and you promise that it was going to be this epic film or whatever, it's like
Hmm.
I don't know. And I
Yeah.
think we should promote and try to educate people to enjoy and entertain them without the kill shot. And actually, like I think Brian's called that he releases 3 episodes of the bear hunt, and the most successful one is the one that doesn't have the kill shot,
Yeah.
which which is
Hmm.
interesting because like out of the three, the only one that doesn't have any kill shots, it's by far the most successful one.
Hmm.
So I think he's doing a great job storytelling
Yeah.
because maybe we have reached to a point that some people we have already watched enough kill shots that we want to see something else.
Yeah.
And sometimes if the film only has music and it's missing the educational and the entertaining part, you may have a great kill shot, but it has an added value to you. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough to I like this bear hunt. We don't have a kill on this last bear hunt, and I was really blessed that all my other hunts this year were successful. But I think people also, especially kind of over here in this culture of people who want to do DIY and public land and stuff. I still think like this bear hunt, it was like crazy adventure. Like I almost drowned in a pack raft at one point. We had to climb like a bunch of
don't tell us
crazy.
those things.
Oh, dude, it was climb a bunch of crazy mountains. Like, I mean, we were just banging our heads against the wall for like 9 days trying to find bears, and it just didn't happen. But, I think every now and then people, it's almost like it's relatable. It's like if they see, you know, if they see a Ryan Lampers like coming out of the woods every single time with this giant animal, it's like, okay, well, that's him. But I don't know. I think every now and then maybe it is good to throw in like, hey, we tried our best for a week. We're normal guys and we just didn't get it done. Like this is my first bear hunt that I've ever planned on my own and just didn't work out. you know.
Yeah, the thing is that it's hard to don't get that inside your head because like I also go like on very like last year we went to Kyrgyzstan to hunt a Marco Polo with the bow, which was a really a, probably the hardest hunt that I have done because like it's wide
Yeah.
open. I mean like there
Why
was
would you do that to
nothing easy.
yourself?
I don't know, and we spent 21 days hunting.
That's gnarly.
So like you have invested a lot of training because we train a lot of economical resources. You have a camera crew there. You are a lot of time outside of home and all that. And you have a lot of people expecting you to be successful when you're trying something that is stupid hard.
yeah.
So, and I got a couple of opportunities and I missed. It's true that they were like extreme long shots, but uh, like it's hard to don't have that get into your brain and get
hmm
you out of the experience. So you need to remind yourself, it's like, I'm here to have fun. Just like, don't stress it because also when you stress things out, I don't think you don't hunt as good.
Yeah.
And you make a lot of mistakes. You try to cover more country when you should be more patient and
Yes.
waiting. So probably if you are not seeing birds, it's like we need to go to the next ridge and the next ridge, and you are not probably glassing properly.
Yeah, that's
So
actually another one of the biggest things is like we were in an area to begin with that was pretty good and we saw one sow and cub and we spent a whole day there and that's all we saw, but then we left and like that was like we realized after that was like we should have stayed there at least another day. But I was so like freaking out trying to find that I probably jumped the gun on leaving that spot.
yeah, I will always remember in Norwest territories we were hunting doll sheep, and it we were not seeing sheep. Like I think we saw the first legal sheep on day 8 of the hunt, and I don't know. Internally, you have wide open country, and I was like, let's. There's nothing. Let's move. Let's move. And the guide once told me, Jeremy Atala, that he has like a huge experience sheep hunting, and he's like, you came here to do mountaineering or to hunt? Like to hunt. Like so, sit down and glass because like those animals like they stay behind a rock and they only move once a day and you need to be glassing.
Yeah.
If you are just walking around you're missing the animal. So but it's hard because like we saw the first legal sheep on day 8 of a
Wow.
10-day hunt, so it's like day 8 and because if you see it on day 2, but day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5,
Yeah.
day 6, there's a lot of hours
That's
hunting
a
and
lot.
glassing,
And we were in
and it
one
gets
spot.
no, we cover.
Cover.
We were
Yeah.
camping every single day on a different spot.
Right. Okay.
But when we were glassing, I'm more used to Europe that we have, I think, way more density of games. So it's like if you haven't watched anything half an hour, it's like, okay, let's keep moving. And you're like, no, we're gonna sit here for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And you are glassing the same rocks so over and over. It's like there's nothing. And suddenly boom. inside a cave something comes out, or
Yeah. And those are the moments when, for me anyway, when it's been 8 hours and you haven't seen anything, and you start to think of the family back home. What am I doing out here? Like, why am I here? You start questioning everything in life.
Yeah. Last The last video we published last week, it was from hunting red stags, and I saw the stag in the morning. Like it's the second season hunting in that area because I wanted to shoot a mountain stag with a bow in Spain, which it's by far the hardest animal you can hunt in Spain because they are like we hunt them a lot, so they are very
Mm-hmm.
spooky. And I saw the stag bed down at I don't know like 8 in the morning, and I sat down at 50 meters or 40 meters of the stag bedded for 10 hours without moving
Oof.
until it finally rebed down, and I saw him bedded down because it was getting dark already. But waiting 10 hours
10 hours.
with that, and you are thinking, should I throw a rock? Should I just like grunt a little bit to get the stag to move? Or should I just crawl a little bit closer to see if I see a better angle? It's like, nah, you need to wait.
Yeah.
As like trying to convince yourself to don't fuck it up, and you know that the right thing is to wait. But yeah, I think finally it turned out good, and I got the stag. But
You got him? Okay.
yeah,
Well, I had that
thank God.
experience last year bear hunting with Mark Livesey. We sat on this huge bear for 5 hours, and he stood up after 5 hours and just disappeared, like he caught our wind or something. So that one, I kind of wish I had done something, but every situation's different. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think like better animals with the bow. I like waiting for them to stand up, unless
Oh
the
yeah,
wind is like swifting a lot.
yeah,
With the rifle, maybe you can try to make them stand up, but I prefer to wait.
yeah.
But
It's different with the bow.
but I mean, like it's, I mean, like then something like that can happen.
Yeah,
I almost missed my bear because when he stood up, I was on the wrong
I know
spot.
you were going to the bathroom.
So I told Brian, it's just gonna take me 30 seconds. Don't worry. Like, no, you should wait like 30 seconds. Don't worry. I'm just so stressed because we have been waiting for an hour. Just give me 30 seconds.
Yeah,
And as soon as I went, he stood up. So
of course, always.
of course.
Um, so yeah, man. Are there is it are there pretty good opportunities for Americans to come over and hunt in Spain?
Yeah, there is a
Yeah,
lot. I mean, like Spain is known for its tourism. So like we are probably one of the countries with more tourists for the size of country that we are. So you have good food, good communications in roads and all that. 14 species, lot of outfitters, lot of access, wide season. So I think it's probably one of the top hunting destinations for people. Like
yeah.
for Americans, they come over all the time.
Is it pretty easy to get firearms, or do you have to use your outfitter's firearms
No,
usually?
it's easy. I think it's not a problem in Spain.
Okay,
It's probably harder for us to go to the States, but I think you guys coming over is not a problem. So
good. Yeah,
I highly recommend people to come.
I was thinking about trying to. There's no way I could go to Spain though without bringing my wife. So it's like maybe I could, do a little family vacation slash hunting trip.
Those things are hard. Like
Yeah,
you really need to set the boundaries because like
yeah,
at least myself, if I'm on vacation and I'm thinking on hunting and I go hunting, I go hunting 100%. It's hard
yeah.
to go hunting and thinking that your wife might be waiting in the hotel
That's
or
true.
your family and that you should come, like so.
That's very
I
true.
think I recommend people like to come with the wife, maybe do a week of. I mean, maybe the wife loves also like going hunting and all that. So
Right.
if she likes the outdoors, it's not a problem. But maybe come for a week, do some tourism, and
Yeah.
then stay a couple of more days or 3 or 4 days by your own and just go hunting 100%. Because
Yeah,
when you
that's
go
probably the way to
hunting, you
go.
spend the whole you spend the whole day out. So
Yeah, that's the way to go. All right. So last thing here. Do you have one hunt that just like sticks out like is your favorite or craziest hunt or just best hunt you've ever been on? Because I know you've hunted all over the world.
yeah, I have been. on many, like on many that are like this is top of my. But I will say that if I have to choose from a style of hunting, I think backpack hunting is the one I love the most because I like the freedom. I think
Yeah.
there is nothing that equals the freedom of wrapping up camp and moving somewhere else and not having to go back and forth to the same spot.
Yeah.
And probably mountain hunting with a bow.
Okay.
And out of those hunts that I have done that way, probably the one in Norwich territories for tall sheep was the one I enjoy the
Which
most because
one? I
at the
didn't
end,
understand. Which one was it?
Norwich territories for tall sheep.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that's the hunt that we spotted the first legal ram on the 8th day of the hunt, and I shot it on the 9th day of the hunt with the bow.
Wow.
So just I just get honestly literally goosebumps just by thinking on that hand because
Yeah.
like the struggle and the beauty of not knowing where to go because you look to the map and like where do we go? It's like you look to the guy like I don't know, I've never been here, so why we don't go that way and see what is behind that valley. So I think that's super special and living out with your own resources in the country, finding water, fire, like I think that's very cool. And on the other side, the cultural part when you travel around, it's also pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
When you're living in Mongolia in a yurt with the local guides and you see them and you try to understand how they live, but you contrast that with the guys in Africa or the pygmies in the rainforest and how they live in how they understand the family, how they understand the future of wildlife, of nature. Like we think we are very alike, but the way of thinking of the different culture. You go to Pakistan and they have another different view of of life. So I don't know. I think that's a pretty cool also.
Yeah, man.
Which maybe in Norwest territories you don't have that cultural thing because Canada and the States. I mean, I have traveled a lot there, so I more or less know, and I have lived in the States, so I don't know. It's more similar
Yeah. So
to
as
what we are
far as
used
that
to.
goes, like, your outlook, the stuff you just said, your outlook, your thoughts on family and the future of wildlife and all that, like, do you think your cultural outlook is different from a lot of the Americans that you've spent time with? And if so, how so?
In comparison, the Spanish people with Americans, because I lived in Hawaii for a year and a half, I think in Europe we are more family
Mm.
based. So the family is a very strong piece of the culture. So you typically live close to your family. You will go visit them often every month. Relationships are very tight. And if you have friends from school, those group of friends are your friends forever and ever. And
Mm.
I think in the States, you guys are less stick to that. So your son will be 18 and will travel to a different state and come once a year to visit you. And then he will make a family and maybe get divorced and go somewhere else. So you guys are not that stick into the family, or that's the
Mm.
the feeling I have. And the relationships are also a bit different. It's true that maybe because I was an outsider, so it's different. But I think like, and don't understand me wrong. It's just like
No,
the
you won't
perception.
offend me.
Like I see that sometimes in relationships there is an intention behind something, and you get
Yeah.
to relationship with someone, and you change with friends and all that. While us, we are very. I mean, like if you have the group of friends, and when someone you call friend, it's forever. He can be an idiot. He can change. You can be mad at him, but it's your friend forever, and there is no interest behind or whatever. So I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest cultural difference I
That's
thought.
interesting.
But I lived in Hawaii, which is also a place that has a lot of tourism, and
Yeah.
people go there for a year and go. So I don't think local people want to invest the time on a person that is gonna go.
Yeah.
So maybe on different areas of the country, it's different.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you hit a lot of that stuff true because my wife is Iranian, and I've traveled extensively through Europe, Southeast Asia, some in Africa, even South America, and I'm always observing other cultures as well. And I think you're right. I think Americans are very much more, I guess you could say, independent. Like you said, it's totally like normal for a man to move across the country from his family and start his own little thing. And I think a lot of that just comes from how America started. I mean, you think about it, like we came from all the people who left Europe, basically, and and then the people that came here, they all wanted to leave the East Coast and go west, um, and there's positives to that, but there is also negatives. I see, like you said, my wife's family, they seem much closer, tighter knit than maybe my family is, unfortunately, but. And then, yeah, I think we do. Sometimes we're so like go 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 all the time that a lot of times our relationships and friendships are more like transactional, like, what can you do for me kind of thing, which is unfortunate. But it's good to hear that perspective and kind of remember those things and try to work on it.
Yeah,
So
no,
it,
and not like it's different, but I'm not saying also that it's way better one thing or way
sure,
better
yeah,
the other. I think
yeah,
it's different. And when you go to other countries, also you cannot judge how others live because it's the situation and the country and the cultural space that they live is so different to yours that it's not easy to judge and say, no, he's like very materialistic or he's not taking care properly of the family
yeah.
because maybe his concept of family is way different than,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I remember when we were first trying to get a podcast going, it was Easter week, and I think you said your kids had like the whole week off, and you're doing a lot of family stuff. So is faith a part of your life, or is it more of a cultural thing, or what do you fall on that?
So two things. Like I spend a lot of time outside. So when I'm at home, I'm trying to spend time with. I have a 6 year old and now a 4 month old. So
Oh,
trying to
congrats.
spend time as much time with the family as possible. And here, Spain, I would say that it's mostly Catholic, but I think people are losing the faith or like losing they are not practicing a little bit. In part, I think I'm not sure what type of religion do you practice, but I think that
I'm Christian.
the Christian religion they are not adapting to the times as quick as the world is changing.
Yeah.
So I think they
But is
are
that a bad
lose.
thing? Because look at the world; it's screwed up.
Yeah, but the communication. I don't think they have to change the values, but how to you reach the people because I don't
Mm.
think people like the younger generations are listening or whatever because if you make them go on Sundays for 1 hour and you read in slow motion and it's like
Yeah.
it's hard for people to so I think the values are great but maybe the communication should be adapted and I
Yeah.
also me personally, like after traveling a lot, I do believe that there is something bigger than us. But at the same time, when you see so many different cultures and so many interpretations of what is above us, it's hard to believe that maybe we own the only truth.
Mm.
So I'm not sure. I believe that we are not wrong all, but I think maybe it's a mix between different. I mean, like there is something else and there is a purpose, and we all have to try to add value to people and be our best version and all that for a bigger project that we may not understand. But I'm
Hmm.
not sure if you are right, of the guys from Pakistan are right, or the guys in Africa are the ones that are right.
Yeah. No, I get you, man.
If that makes sense or not.
Yeah. So I mean, is it something that you spend much time thinking about, or is it not really kind of top of the mind for you?
I don't know, depending. We spend a lot of time alone thinking about
Yeah.
life, but yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like, man, I feel like there's so much just crazy stuff happening in the world today. It's like it seems like the evil is just kind of ramping up in the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm sure. I don't know how it is in Europe, but over here, just like the transgender stuff and the like openly like Satanist people like doing like kid stuff or like parents taking their kids to see drag shows and stuff. It's like, what are people thinking? And it seems like it's such a obvious like agenda to try to,
I I
I
think
don't know what.
that we are trying to be way too polite And I don't know who said that, but I'm not sure if they said it in Spanish or in English, but there is one guy that said that one day they will forbid the clever people to think to don't offend the stupid people.
Yeah.
Because like we are trying to be so politically correct, and you cannot think on a specific way. It needs to be good for everyone. That I think, I don't know.
Yeah, it's wild, man. All right.
But in
Well,
Spain, it's the same. Like we are in the same. I think it's worldwide. Well,
yeah.
not in Africa. Definitely not in Uganda. In Uganda, they are way behind in that sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of places still where I mean, if you're like
I
homosexual, it's
mean,
like you're like
in Uganda,
against
it's
the
by
law.
law. Yeah,
Yeah,
in Uganda, it's by law. You cannot do
right.
it.
Yeah, like you
Also,
can get in trouble. And I don't think that's the way to go either. I mean, we shouldn't like, criminalize stuff. But anyway, it's just weird, man. I feel like there's an agenda and it's kind of like not good and I see it starting to creep into the hunting industry, which is over here anyway, still a very conservative and still a lot in a lot of ways faith-based kind of community, but I'm starting to see these things kind of infiltrate like subtly, and it's kind of weird.
yeah, I mean, it's in the schools, it's in all the media communications, it's in everywhere.
Hmm.
So, like, they are just educating the people, and I don't know.
Yeah.
We are way better in the mountains, solving real problems like getting closer to deer, which is
Yeah, figuring out
keep
how
us
to
busy.
secure water, food, and shelter, not trying to figure out what gender we are or something.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, man. Well, this has been fun. I enjoyed getting to know you a little bit. I hope you have a great hunt in New Zealand, and tell folks where they can check out some of your content. Because I know you got a lot of really cool hunts on YouTube and stuff like that. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so mainly all our videos we are posting on YouTube. So if you search for Pedro Hunting Adventures or something like that, you could probably find us, and also on Instagram, Pedro whatever. I'm not sure. I think I'm shadow banned, so it's gonna be hard to. I don't know if you
Yep.
get shadow banned or not,
Oh
but it
yeah.
just
Like
either
certain
you.
accounts, you have to type in the entire account before it pops up or something.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's social media, I guess, and the platforms.
Yeah,
But
and they're all part of that agenda I was just talking about. But yeah, man, it's great to have you, and hopefully someday maybe we could meet up and do an adventure together. That'd be awesome.
yeah, we're waiting for you in Spain, and in the meantime, let's find an excuse to do something in the US. But you have to come out with a plan because I'm unable to understand all the regulations, draws, and
Yeah, it's tough,
time
man.
frames and all that. Just it's hard.
Yeah, it's like a whole part of my job is just like figuring out every single state and like buying points and applying like everywhere, and it's it's like mental. It's like algebra. It's like doing complex math equations in your head during
Yeah,
application seasons. Like, if I get this, then I'll do this. If I don't, I'll do this. But if this doesn't go, I have to go. It's like it's crazy.
very complicated. So yeah, thanks out for having me.
Yeah,
I
man.
really enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, man. Let me know if you're ever over on the East Coast or like flying through DC, you got a layover or anything. I'm right in that area, and then we'll stay in touch. Maybe we can link up sometime.
Yeah, for sure. It will not be the last one.
All right, brother.
Sorry
Good
for
talking
you,
to
but
you.
it will not be the last. Okay, thank you.
See you,
Bye.
man. Have a great hunt.
Bye. Thank you.